Welcome to the next video. In this video, we'll be talking about pointing a sprite in a certain direction. Now this is the default sprite, the Scratch cat, but we don't want to use that in this video. So down here in the sprite selector, right-click on the image and hit delete. Now, over here next to new sprite, the first icon says choose sprite from library. If you select that, this window opens. These are all the pre-made sprites for use in Scratch. Let's go to the Things category. Here, select Arrow 2. And down here, click OK. Now we have Arrow 2 on our stage. We want Arrow 2 to point in a certain direction. First, make sure that the sprite is selected at the bottom. You'll also know it's selected and that you're making a script for it if you can see the same sprite in this corner. Notice it also gives you the X and Y position on the stage. Head over to Events and drag the when green flag clicked, because that is the start of every program. Head back to Motion. Notice that below the Move and Turn blocks, there's the Point in Direction and Point Towards block. Let's try out the Point in Direction block. Make sure it snaps, and now hit the green flag. In this case, nothing happened because we already set the direction to 90 degrees, which is to the right. Let's select negative 90 degrees and run it again. Now it's pointing in the opposite direction. 0 degrees points it straight up, and 180 degrees points it straight down. You can also manually type in the angle that you want it to be. So for example, 45 degrees. Or I can make it 75 degrees, or whichever angle you want it to be. You can also make this negative. So negative 75 degrees points in the other direction. Let's detach this block and put it away. Underneath that one, we have the Point Towards block. Drag it and snap it to the when green flag clicked. Click the drop down, and you'll see, as of right now, the only option is mouse pointer. If you select that and hit the green flag, notice that the same moment you click the green flag, the arrow started pointing in that direction. We can make this more of a game. If you head over to the Controls section, you can use the Forever block. Detach the Point Towards block. Now reattach the Forever block and put the Points Towards in the middle of the Forever block. This means when the green flag is clicked, forever point towards the mouse pointer, which means keep on updating yourself. If we hit the green flag, now also if you notice that this whole block is highlighted. Anytime a script is run, it highlights the section of the script that is currently running. Since it's on the forever block, it'll go on forever and this highlighting will not go away. Now if you move your mouse around here, you'll notice that the arrow keeps on changing direction so it points to your mouse. Hit the red stop sign to stop the program. Now, go back and let's add another sprite. You can choose any sprite you want, but for this example, I'm going to choose the apple. Hit OK, and there's the apple. Drag the apple away from the arrow for now. Now notice there's no script over here. That's because we have currently selected the apple, but the script for the arrow remains there. Make sure that you frequently save your program so you don't lose what you've done. Now for the apple, what we want to do is be able to drag the apple around and have the arrow sprite to point towards the apple instead of the mouse. So if we head back to the arrow, click arrow so that this script shows up. Now that we added a new sprite, which is called apple, the point towards block now has the new option, apple. If you run the script, now notice that as I move the mouse, nothing happens to the arrow. But if I click and drag the apple, now the arrow points towards it. Again, the script went away because the apple is selected, but the program still runs. Let's stop this. Now we have all it takes to make a simple game. If you head back to the arrow, forever points towards apple, right? But now, if you head back to motion, you can take the move 10 steps block and drag it beneath that. Now if you run it, notice that the arrow starts chasing after the apple. That's because it points towards the apple, moves 10 steps almost instantaneously, and then because of the forever block, it re-updates the direction that it's pointing so it stays focused on the apple. Let's hit stop. That was a little fast for a game. So let's change the move from 10 steps to 4 steps. Hit the green flag again, and now you'll notice that the arrow is going much slower. But it's still chasing after the apple. You can make this stage take up your whole screen by clicking over here. Hit the green flag again, and now it's a full-size computer game. But notice that it didn't work that time. See, when you're here, this is the stage editing, whereas if it's expanded, it should be the final program that you can't edit. But we weren't able to move around the apple. That's because there's a setting of the apple that doesn't allow us to move it. Down here, if you click on the eye for the apple, you can do can drag in player. This allows us to have control over the apple while the program is running. Make sure to hit save frequently. Now if you open it again, now notice that we're allowed to drag it again. So hit the green flag, and now you have your game.